Hello and welcome to the Sports Centre YouTube channel. So me and Carl are here today to report on the breaking news that Mauricio Pochettino has apparently left Chelsea by mutual consent after just 11 months in charge. What are we saying about this one, Carlos?
Daft, daft. I can't see who they would bring in to replace him that would be any better. I just can't see. I mean, Chelsea always seem to pull some magic thing out of the pocket bag, or whatever you want to call it. They've pulled an Ancelotti, a Gus Hiddink. But there doesn't seem to be anybody out there for me.
I mean, that were under the Abramovich era. They're in a different era now, aren't they? Under Todd Bowley. Seems a weird one for me, especially the way that they finished the season as well. You know,
Yeah, if the season had been the other way around, where they started really well and finished poorly,
yeah.
I could have got it. But they were an absolute juggernaut at the end of the season. I think, if I remember rightly, they were third best form in league
I was just literally
back in
about to
the
say,
second
yeah.
half of the season.
Yeah, I think for the last 10, 15 games, I think they were third form team.
Honestly, absolute juggernaut towards the end of the season. Got into Europa League, which at Christmas you would have laughed if anybody had told you that.
Well, you literally just took words out of my mouth. I was just going to say, if you'd have said around about Christmas, New Year time that Chelsea were going to finish in top six, you'd have been like, no chance. Absolutely no chance.
I mean, I just don't see the reasoning behind it. I mean, I can see it from his point of view because how much control does he have, or did he have, should I say?
Hmm.
Regarding everything. Because Todd Bowley to me looks like an absolute control freak, even though he knows nothing about soccer. Um, it's going to be interesting to see who they've got lined up because they must have someone lined up. No club sacks someone without having a
Well,
discussion with somebody.
apparently it's mutual consent in it, so that's what they
I don't,
not buying it.
I don't think so. There's been talks, and I don't think all Chelsea fans were suited with Pochettino anyway, especially because he came from Tottenham.
Yeah, the Spurs
Um,
link always carried it around with him. Although I thought that were a little bit pathetic, to be honest.
yeah,
If I were thinking about it from, I mean, don't get me wrong, we're not from that neck of woods, so I suppose we don't really live in that rivalry, if that makes sense. So we don't know how passionate Chelsea Tottenham is, but it, it's been about a little bit since he left Tottenham, and he's been to
well,
PSG, so there's like water under the bridge there.
that's what I was going to say. I'd say if he had gone to Chelsea straight from Tottenham,
Yeah, yeah.
I could have got that a lot more. But he's been away from Tottenham for a couple of years. So I'm same. I don't really see the issue, but that's not saying there isn't one. I just don't see it personally.
Well, it shocked me as well because I was saying he was seemed to be getting a tune out of players. Obviously, Cole Palmer has been the standout player for them this season, but like Mudryk is one that springs to mind where spent a lot of money on him, but what is 70, 80 million? And
Yeah,
sounds harsh for me to say he was a bit of a laughing stock, but he kind of was, wasn't he? It was just basically, yeah.
absolutely.
Um,
And Chelsea fans won't begrudge you saying that. I don't think because he has been one of the worst signings of the Premier League.
But he seemed to be getting a tune out of him, didn't he? Towards back end of the season, well, he was starting most games, whereas before he were very much a bit part player coming off bench, trying to just exploit teams towards the back end of the games with his pace. We've done a pod on Nicholas Jackson as well, and I think he's a very very rough diamond, shall we say? I think he will get better, but even he were beginning to show signs of what he might be capable of towards the back end of the season. It just seemed like
Yeah,
he were making things click, and all of a sudden they've put plug on him, and it seemed very strange, very strange.
very strange. And I keep going back to it. It's like, as soon as I saw it breaking, I'm thinking, who the hell are they bringing in? Who the hell are they bringing in?
Well, I got dropped to WhatsApp when I went at gym, and I read it, and it were a screenshot of David Ornstein's tweet that James Pearce had retweeted, which the pretty well established journalists. So when they're publishing something and they're saying something, more often than not it's right. So I flipped straight onto to BBC Sports app, and it wasn't even on there yet. So
Yeah,
like they'd caught wind of it beforehand. So because I was thinking, is this a bit of a hoax? Like, is this someone just talking some
Is this
absolute
for real?
BS. Yeah, some
Yeah.
BS. And I'm just like, but then obviously, as I've as time has gone on, it's all over the place now. So who's um who's your money on? Do you think in terms of who do you think's is there any? I haven't seen any TV or any reporting or anything. Is there any front runners? Is there any names
I
that's
mean,
been linked?
I've literally just turned it on. I'm not kidding. I've just turned it on and just found out, and then because we weren't supposed to be doing this podcast today, we were supposed to be doing it on something else,
Yeah, we
a different
will.
topic. So obviously, we've obviously just seen this happen. So I've not seen anything. So as soon as I've turned this off, as soon as we finish this, sorry, I'll be tuning in. So I've not seen anything either.
What do you reckon?
Um,
I've got a couple of names to throw at you. So one of them is Deserby. You reckon he's got a?
oh, well, he's leaving Brighton, isn't he? So,
Well, there is that. Yeah.
but can they really sign another Brighton employee? Surely not.
I don't know.
Did he know? Did he know something beforehand?
Well, this is what I mean. It all seems, are we putting two and two together and getting four, or are we completely off the mark? It just
Is this a conspiracy?
another one, which I literally just thought about in the car on the way home from the gym. I thought, I wonder if they may be backtracking a bit and they're thinking they pulled the plug too early on old Tommy Tuchel.
No, I don't think so. I think, do you know what just come to my mind? Allegri just left Juve.
As a
Big name.
hmm.
They tend to go for them type of managers.
But do you not think they need more of a like Allegri seems to me like you just said he's a manager, whereas they almost you've kind of got this manager coach now, aren't you? You know, they're
Yeah.
almost the two roles are divided. And if I think of Allegri, and obviously just off the top of the dome, I see him more of as a manager. Whereas I can imagine Todd Boehly is the kind of guy that I want to coach. But listen, you just coach the players, and I'll
Yeah.
deal with the stuff up here in the boardroom. I can see. I'm not a Chelsea fan, so Chelsea fans, if you know more than us, let us know in the comments. But I can see that's the dynamic at Chelsea at the moment, where Todd Boehly is
I, co-
definitely up there pulling the strings, and down there on the grassroots, you're a coach, you're not a manager.
I completely agree with that. But what baffles me is that's what Pochettino is. He's a
Yeah,
coach and he coaches young players and brings them on.
yeah.
And they've got an ultra young squad. So Poch is exactly what they need. So has there been a falling out? As this mutual consent bullshit can go out a window as far as I'm concerned.
Well,
It
more
just
often
seems
than not,
strange.
mutual consent is you've sat down after the season's finished, and it's like, right, probably what's my kitty for next season? Players going in, players going out, and whether it's just Poch might have turned around and says, look, you've signed these players for me. They ain't good enough. Whether you've paid 70, 80, 100 million plus, they're not it. And maybe Todd Boehly might have just said, well, actually, I've bought these players. They're on long contracts, so you either fucking stick with them.
Deal with
Yeah,
stick or you can twist.
yeah. I mean, again, we're just speculating, so we don't know that for certain. But I don't know. Todd Boehly just seems like one of those guys that it's my way or the highway kind of thing. And I've only listened to a couple of interviews with him, but he very much seems like the guy that's pulling the strings above, and maybe something like that's happened because the timing's odd, very odd to say. Again, like I say, we were saying earlier, the form team seems strange. So who knows? But it meant for an exciting summer. There's a couple of vacant managers roles up for grabs now.
Some big jobs. Obviously, there's Juve, Chelsea, potentially Man United.
I was just going to say that
Liverpool's been solved. I'm sure there's another big Bayern.
Yeah, Bayern as well. Well, I heard that they were doing a U-turn on Tuchel, but then apparently that's been canned now.
Well, Tuchel came out and said, "Look, I'm not staying." Didn't he? They wanted him to stay in end, and he said no. Which I
Really?
find strange. Is a different subject. But Tuchel's under contract, so if they want him to stay, he stays.
Well, unless they've already signed some sort of mutual consent agreement.
Terminating the contract.
Because it were early doors, wasn't it, when they said that when they agreed that he was leaving and they released it as well. It was a fair few months back now.
Yeah. But God knows there's going to be a manager merry-go-round, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, mate. It'll be a good one for the summer to watch
Just
out
another
for.
one. Zidane's still not got a job.
He seemed... I don't know with Zidane. I can only see Zidane in two other places, and one's France and one's PSG.
France national team.
And one's PSG.
Yeah.
And I can't see him anywhere else. And I don't know why.
I know. I agree, but there's just something about Chelsea that just seem to pull in the name. It's as though like they just spend silly money on a manager. So I can't see him anywhere else. But then again, he could go to Juve. He used to play for Juve.
True, he did, yeah. Although I think he's a bit better than that league now. Italian football's a bit on its arse, isn't it?
It is, but he'd probably go there and win everything and look like an absolute worldie again.
Possibly. But it's all exciting stuff and gives us a good reason to get on podcasts like this and report on it. So happy days. Keep it coming.
Yeah.
Sound. Right, guys, thanks for watching. And like we say, let us know in the comments who do you reckon's going to go to Chelsea. Let us know. And yeah, hit the subscribe button, give us a like, and we'll catch you next time. See you later.